Ready, Hans?
Yep.
Ready, Dobie? Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Sarah's gonna hear that. Sarah's gonna be like, "What the f*** they've been?"
But you can't check your six.
They just started.
It's kind of like, taking a screwdriver to a gunfight. What's happening? Just like on top.
She just put something in the Discord. Wait. Aw.
Oh, that was perfect.
That's beautiful.
You're gonna say some shit like, "Oh, you're just now. It's been 40 minutes. You're just starting."
I love Sarah so much.
Love you.
So we spent about an hour avoiding talking about our movies.
Yeah.
So how do we go about this? Because we're not all talking about the same movie.
No, I mean, maybe I think it's more. We don't necessarily need to do like a plot recap, but maybe we kind of just
No.
like share our experience.
Yeah.
I think either we start first to third or third to first. No, I feel like we gotta end on Ticker. I feel
Kind of got to end on
maybe
Ticker.
I go first, then Hans, then
Yeah.
Then Ticker.
That works.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right.
So
Sounds
let's
like you're
introduce
introducing
it.
it, Zach.
Yeah.
Welcome to this special non-episode of Steven Seagal, where 2/3 of us this time watched a Steven Seagal film. I am your host. I am one of your hosts. I am your friend. I am your good, close, personal friend, Zach.
I guess I'm Hans, since I came in second.
And I am very disturbed to have come in third. And
I thought you were happy to have come in third.
It's a complicated relationship with third place.
You're on the podium. But...
I was always going to be on the podium. There are only 3 contestants. But I am glad that I don't know as much about Seagal movies as either of you. I am sad that I now know more about Ticker than either of you.
I don't think it's matter. I think if anything, you know just as much. It was just in the format remembering as much Seagal. You're just as cursed as we are.
You're making it
You're
worse.
the only one between the 3 of us. You're the only one who has mentioned like using your Seagal knowledge in real life conversation outside of the podcast. So do not absolve yourself of this.
Wish I could.
I don't talk about Steven Seagal movies outside of this.
I try not to, but sometimes
Until
the
you
Lord
start
in His
correcting
providence
people,
just
actually this
thrusts
movie
it
came
upon
out first
you.
and then this movie, and you start filling them in on the lore. Well, so in case you didn't listen, a little bit ago, we had a fun little game show. We had a friend come in, test our Seagal trivia knowledge, and I won, ? My prize was...
By
I
a
just got
lot,
to watch
by the way.
anything.
By a pretty wide margin.
I got to watch... Well, it was worth it because I got to watch anything that was not a Seagal movie. And Hans came in second, so he had to watch the best Seagal movie, Under Siege 2.
It is
Yeah.
the best
Territory.
Seagal movie.
And Aaron,
We'll
for
see.
the crime of remembering the least about Steven Seagal and his many films, had to watch the dreggiest of the dregs, the lowest of the low.
It was so
the
bad.
tickeriest ticker to ever tick. Ticker. Barely even a movie.
Yeah.
Can I just say, so this has been pretty... This is a little kind of like behind the scenes. This is a little like, if you just listen, you might not realize this. But like this idea of like in a family unit, if the parents are like undergoing some kind of like, if like there's financial hardships that are affecting the family, or if like maybe the parents are having like marital issues or such, they often try to keep that away from the kids. Like, not that you're like trying to hide something, keep your kid in the dark, but like when there's a recession or something and like dad's about to like you could be like a month away from losing the house, and like
Timmy doesn't need to know that. He doesn't need to worry about that.
Yeah, like you just want your kid to have a happy childhood, so that you kind of shield them from all that hardship. This is kind of like the opposite of that. Like we're only, if you're listening to this episode, it's been like 23 Seagal movies a game show and then another Seagal movie. Like we're just back to back Seagal movies, but that's not how the recording process works. Like you're only seeing the hardships and you're not seeing the joy. Like we're hiding the joy from you. Because I just need to say that it has been a minute now. The last Seagal movie that I watched at time of recording, 1, 2, 3 was 3 weeks ago. I have not watched a Steven Seagal movie in 3 weeks, which is
It has been joyous.
and that's like that's coming close. That's probably my second longest stretch of time between the record holder is I think like 27 years. So this is the second longest stretch in my life where I haven't watched a Steven Seagal movie.
Yeah.
And it's been really nice. I've watched a lot of good movies lately. Jurassic Park came back to theaters. We saw that in 3D.
Oh, wow.
That was really great. I recently just picked up like an old like a CRT like tube TV with like a VHS player built in. So I've been like rewatching some like movie like Independence Day, Blade Runner. Like I've been watching some fun stuff. Like everything I've enjoyed. Like when you go to my letterbox, it's just all good stuff, and then you hit the little pocket of Seagal.
Yeah.
So I'm great. For my reward movie, I got to watch Before Sunrise.
Oh, yeah, great.
The 1995, I believe, film co-written and directed by Richard Linklater, starring Ethan Hawke, Julie Delpy, and pretty much it. There's technically other people in this movie, but they are like the only two like named characters. And it was a delight. Can I just say? I recognize if you're tuning in. Hey, so I should say, if you're not like a friend of ours, if you're just like a person that wants to like listen to like three guys like bashing a Seagal movie, you fast forward, I don't know, like 10 minutes or something. Like this is the episode that by far that requires the most like lore of the podcast itself.
Oh,
Lore.
Yeah.
Like, well, because if
This
you
is the
want
episode
to
for
watch
long-time
the
listeners,
episode on The Foreigner, you can just jump in and watch the episode on The Foreigner.
Yeah.
That's fine. You don't have to have seen the movie, and you don't have to have heard us talk about any of the movies before. This one, even if you're just here for the Skull movie, it's like a reevaluate. Like you probably have to have listened to the Under Siege 2 episode or the Ticker episode, like to get any enjoyment out of this. So if you're just a casual, you can just get this episode. That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
No, but what if we put ads in here?
We're not putting ads in here.
Don't
No.
tell people to skip ahead. What if we monetize this?
Actually,
Well-
hey, listen. If there are ads in here, skip it.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the ad.
Yeah.
Don't.
Is that to punish us?
I don't
or-
want you to.
Oh. So yeah, I'm sorry if you came to listen to a Steven Skull podcast and then all of a sudden I'm like, the movie Before Sunrise by Richard Linklater.
I didn't come here for art.
Yeah, you didn't come here
Real
for
art.
independent cinema, but I had a great time. This was an excellent
Great.
watch. My wife and I watched it a little bit ago. I actually just rewatched it today. It was good. It was one of those movies. You know how a lot of movies, maybe that we've talked about here before, they just kind of slide right off the brain.
Yeah.
Like
They're
if
greasy.
that you watch it, and if you didn't literally have to like sit down in front of a microphone and talk about it with your friends for like an hour and a half or so, like it would just completely leave your mind. It's nice to have a movie that isn't that. It's nice to watch a
Oh, that's
movie and
great.
it like latches in there that the next day I'm still thinking
That
about
sounds
it,
lovely.
and then like a week later I'm still thinking about it, and like
Mm-hmm.
there's meaning to it, and there's like there, not to do a dramatic like it was life changing or my life before this movie and after this movie, but there is a part of my brain that Before Sunrise inhabits that will now always be there, that was not there before. It was a good movie. I'll think about it a year from now and be like, yeah, that was a good movie.
That's awesome.
At some point, so we haven't finished the trilogy yet. I do feel like after finishing the Before trilogy, and then maybe I've never seen Boyhood. If I watch Boyhood, I think I can see myself. I'm like predicting this. I'm gonna be like a Linklater stan. It's gonna be, hey everybody, welcome to Richard Link, see you later, or something like that.
Mhm.
Richard Link, catch you later. Where all I want to do is talk about his movies. I can I've only seen one or two of his. I've seen like A Scanner Darkly. I feel the Richard Link, the egg of the
okay.
Richard Linklater stand inside of me, and it's ready to hatch.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's about where I'm. Ooh, and there's something really fun at some point I'd like to do. I've seen people online that do like this whole the Before trilogy, like not proper viewing experience, but like this fun like viewing experience where they wake up real early and they watch Before Sunrise, like in real life, and then they watch Before Sunset, like in the evening before sunset, and then they watch Before Midnight at night. Like, so you spread it out through the whole day and watch each of the movies at the time, like when the title of the movie takes place.
Mhm.
So at some point, I'm going to be doing that. I love stupid stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good movie. You should watch it. I would love to talk about it for the next hour, but I don't think that's really the point of this podcast, is talking about this good movie that neither of you have seen.
No, I think
No,
the
that's-
point of this
that's art.
podcast. Yeah, I think the point of this particular episode is just to talk about what this has done to our psyche. This whole experiment.
Yeah, that's what I'll focus on. It's been very nice to watch this and other good movies. Like, I've only watched good movies for the last 3 weeks.
Now, do you
It's amazing
think
what that does to a person.
Do you think next week when you have to watch another Seagal movie, will it hurt more, or will this be like time to recover and you'll be able to weather it more easily?
I need to do a little research first before I answer that question.
Oh,
It's a real thinker, huh?
I need to have like, the earpiece in, where like the person cues me up. Like,
yeah. Are you like
know,
on
it's
with
from-
like the American Psychological Society or?
Ooh, tough cop with a reputation for violent street justice methods.
You can just say a Seagal character.
That's
fine.
That's just.
I
a
get
call.
what you mean.
I don't think I'll know the answer to that question until I like go to pull it up and hit the play button.
I think I could tell you the answer to that question. I think you're
Okay.
gonna start up that movie. You're gonna think, you know what? I've had a joyous little break, and I haven't had to even think about this awful human being for weeks. And you're gonna hit that play button, and you're gonna start the intro sequence, and that feeling will fade faster than any feeling has ever faded from your mind in your entire life, and you will be just right back in the pits.
I think you're right. Right now, in this moment, I feel like, you know what? It's been a while. Like, when the hardest times of this podcast, like, I know the times that I've struggled the most is whenever like I didn't have anything in between. When I've watched, like, when I go and I look at the movies I've watched, and it was like 2 or 3 Seagal movies in a row with nothing else, like no saltine crackers in between them as a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
So I think I have recuperated. I've had time to recover.
Okay.
That I'm going back into this with my full armor and stamina in the Souls-like game of watching Seagal movies, where life just keeps punching the absolute out of you. So like I've had a chance to, sit at the bonfire and like heal up and everything.
Get your Estus flasks ready. And,
So actually, the like Elden Ring, the Souls, like, is a perfect comparison for this. I was doing boss rush. I healed. I sat by the fire. I got some new potions of spirits to summon, and I'm gonna be like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm feeling better. And then I'm gonna go into the next arena and just immediately get like stomped into the ground within the first like 2 seconds. And be like, nope, back to rock bottom already. Within the first scene, I feel like I'm not gonna know any of the combos. I'm not gonna know any of the dodge roll timings. I'm gonna get absolutely crushed by this next movie.
You're just gonna see that Millennium Films logo pop up and just
Yes, new image, dead, literally dead.
steamroller. Well, consider me steamrolled. I'm done.
Yep, I'm gone. Yeah, so feeling good right now. Check in next time and we'll see where we're at.
Okay. Well, thank you for that update. Hans, how you feeling?
Are you the host of this episode now?
No, but I
He's
decided
kinda
to just
naturally
take over
took
that job.
You're just showing your leadership capabilities.
I know, right? Take charge. Take action. Hans, how do you feel?
You know what? See,
How's your
this
reevaluation of this movie? That's what I'm really interested in.
So
Forget
this
your
is
feelings.
tough.
What's your reevaluation of this
Yeah.
movie?
Well, I have to start with my feelings.
Oh, okay.
We'll
Oh,
get
okay.
there.
I'll listen to your feelings. Feelings are important.
Thank you. This is very difficult for me to talk about this way because I'm going to be honest with you. My first note, because I took notes. I wanted to remember this.
Oh, wow.
This is important. This movie was refreshing. Now,
Oof,
let
I don't
me
think anyone has
clarify.
ever described a Seagal movie as refreshing.
I don't
Let
think
me
anybody's ever described Under Siege 2 Dark Territory as refreshing.
Let me clarify. Under Siege 2 Dark Territory is still an awful, terrible, just moronic movie that should never have been made in the first place. However,
okay.
when you put it up against all of the garbage from the mid to late 2000s that we have been watching over the past few weeks before our little break, this movie seems like a masterpiece. I forgot what a theatrical release Seagal movie was like.
Oh,
and
man.
this, he actually moves in this movie. He walks and runs around the train, and he's involved. I won't say he is good at it, but he's at least involved in the action scenes. It's not a stunt double. It's refreshing. It's very refreshing. He doesn't talk like a really awful stereotype. He just talks like a normal person in that movie. It was refreshing. It's the only way I can put it. Now, terrible movie. Just in its own right, bad movie. But I will say, I think on my initial viewing experience, I came off of that viewing experience a little hot. And I didn't give the film the credit that it deserved. Not that it deserves much, but I think that I appreciate it at the same level that you two appreciated it at the time.
I'm very sorry that it took 2 watch-throughs to feel that.
Yeah. Bogosian is a treat. That man is phenomenal. In an otherwise awful movie, he makes it. Absolutely. What's the guy that plays the porter? I wrote it down. Morris Chestnut. Excellent. Phenomenal. It's still incredibly creepy, Seagal's character.
Oh.
That didn't change. It was,
Even the 2 Under Siege 2 Dark Territory stands in the room agreed that he was very creepy.
Yeah.
That was never up for debate. That was never going to change.
Yeah. The very first thing I noticed that I don't know if we talked about when this first came out, but yes, it is an earthquake laser. I missed that originally. You two had to explain it to me. Now, this is an earthquake laser that the government doesn't know about, NASA doesn't know about, nobody knows about it except the guy that invented it in the secret little subset of the government. But it was launched from the space shuttle, which is like the most public of the types of space launching equipment, which I thought to be very funny. Moving on to the second point here, there were a lot of extras in this movie. It was a kind of a stark contrast. The stuff that we have seen recently is like 8 people and that's it. And that's all they could afford. There were like a lot of people, just background people in this movie. It was, again, it just gave me this is a throwback to theatrical Seagal. Still bad, but refreshing. When they in the very beginning, the bad guys go to an airfield to steal a helicopter so that they can get to the train, and they made a point. I didn't notice this the first time. They made it a point to show that the code to open the gate to the airfield was 69.
Yes.
Wait, are you serious?
I remember that.
And that's the code. It's not like
that?
5 characters. It's not, something pound. It's 69. Gate open. And then the only other thing I thought about, there wasn't really a lot to think about with this one, but the only other thing I thought about was the whole premise is that he lets the government know because he faxes his chef buddy, and then the chef buddy gets the information to the government.
Yes.
But the train is in dark territory, which means there's no communication. They can't talk to the train, the conductor. There's no internet signal.
That was the whole point.
How did he send that's the name of the movie. How did he send the fax? He sent it over a phone line. If they can't get a phone call, if they can get a phone call out, they're not in dark territory. How did that work?
Who cares? Just look at Bogosian.
I'm not even going to try to give a justification for how that works.
I know, but I don't think we touched on that the first time we watched this movie. I don't think we talked about it.
It's not even a little bit of just a weird thing that happens in the story. The whole point of Bogosian taking over this train at this particular time is because there's no communication.
Right.
The entire title of the movie.
So it's not just a weird little plot hole that
here.
doesn't matter. It's central to the film that no one can communicate with anybody.
Exactly. And it's not like he had some special CIA hardware that communicates with satellites or some other garbage like that.
Under Siege.
Exactly. He plugs it into the phone, the hardwired phone in the train, and sends his fax that way. It doesn't work. And I don't think we even thought about it. There were so many other things to talk about when we first watched this movie that didn't register to me at the time. I don't think we talked about it, but I was so confused. I had to pause it. I was like, wait. The whole like premise of the second act of this movie is that he sends the fax to let the government know he's on the train. That can't happen if they're in dark territory.
We'll just assume
Anyway.
that he was like, you know, holding the phone up. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? He got one bar and he likes the fax. No, it is very funny. Like, I'm not a plot holes guy. Like, that's not my preferred method of movie criticism, is just pointing out every potential plot hole you see. But when the plot hole of the movie is literally the title of the movie and, like, the central foundation principle of the movie,
You might have a point.
Yeah, I might have a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. No, so it was. See, I do this all the time. I hesitate to say that it was refreshing because it was to a certain degree, but with that major caveat that this is still a bad movie with some admittedly funny parts in it that I don't think I appreciated enough on my first watch.
Yeah.
So we know the movie's bad. That's not fair debate. But did you like enjoy it at all? You said it was refreshing, but like
absolutely not. I didn't.
You didn't enjoy it?
Okay.
No.
Enjoy it. So you're not with us on this.
No, I enjoyed it.
You're still a hater.
I thought it was like fun to watch.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch it again
No.
willingly, but it was pretty fun in the moment when we did watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If we were all together
let's
in the same room,
hold
I'd
on.
watch it
Let's
together
level
with you.
set here.
I do have a copy of Under Siege 2 Dark Territory on VHS if we would like to watch
That's amazing.
Where? How did you get this?
But you at a store.
You bought this with your own money?
I was at like a record / like used movie store or whatever. I saw Under Siege 2. This was what actually wait, I think this might have been when I was in Connecticut. But this was like a bit early. This was a little closer when we released that episode. I saw it in the store. I wasn't not gonna get it. It's literally the highest movie on my Steven Seagal rates list. I had to get it.
So let's level set here because you say you wouldn't rewatch it, but you enjoyed watching it the first time. Let me level set when I say I didn't enjoy it. I think I'm coming at that question with a sense of I would not watch this movie again. It was a bad movie. But if you're talking along those lines, I suppose
Hans, you need to specify you would not watch it a third time.
No, I wouldn't watch it a third time.
I would not watch it a second time. You would not watch it a third time because you had to watch it again and I did not.
As was my punishment for coming in second. I guess I can agree with you that I enjoyed watching Bogosian use his earthquake laser.
Okay, good.
That was fun. I think we're in agreement on that. But I would not willingly watch this movie a third time.
Okay.
See, I feel like it's a little hard because I think for Aaron and I, our brains are like broken in the same way.
Yeah. I'll get to that when I start talking about Ticker, but
Well, just that there's bad movies I would rewatch, and there's good movies I wouldn't rewatch, and there's bad movies that are fun that I would rewatch, and bad movies that are fun that I wouldn't rewatch. Like, it's almost the quality of the film is only one of many factors that is like in the equation as to whether I'd watch a movie again.
I can agree with that. I think we're very much on the same page there because something like The Banshees of Inisherin is a phenomenal movie in every regard. The way it was written, the camera work, the acting, every piece of that movie was a masterclass in how good a movie can be. I hated it. I freaking hated that movie. It sucked. It was an objectively incredible film. I hated it.
Hey, listeners, if you're really interested in this phenomenon, I have an essay on our website, stephenseeitall.com, entitled Babylon, Why It's Good and Why I Hate It.
And it's a phenomenal essay.
See, I know I'm also very weird here because, like, something like Banshees of Inisherin or like Whiplash is almost like a comfort movie for me. And I don't think that's...
Whiplash is a comfort movie? Whiplash almost gave me a panic attack.
I could just cuddle into a nice big like blanket.
I love Whiplash, and I will watch it again.
Cocoa and a nice big blanket of Whiplash wrapped around me.
I love Whiplash. I will watch it again. I think it's an excellent movie. I will absolutely watch that again, many more times in my life. I gotta be in the mood.
I've seen Whiplash at least like 8 times. I could put that on any day.
I've seen it like 2 or 3 times. I love it. It's a great movie. I will absolutely
So-
watch it again. I will not watch it whenever you want. I gotta be
I've
like.
I've never seen Whiplash.
Oh,
I didn't even
man.
know.
Have you ever had a
I
panic
didn't even
attack?
know- yes.
Just imagine
I didn't
that
even
for like
know-
2 hours.
I didn't even know what it was. And Zach talked about it one day, and we were all hanging out together, and Sarah gave him this, like, beaming expression, the pure anger and hatred behind her eyes when she looked at Zach when he was talking so happily about Whiplash.
It's so good.
And I asked what the movie was, and Sarah looked at me with that same expression and said, "Don't watch Whiplash."
J.K. Simmons
it was
just
awful.
yells for an hour and a half. It's great.
Have you ever seen Uncut Gems?
I have not.
I haven't either.
Oh, you should watch it.
We've talked about that. I want to.
You need to like a Whiplash, like Uncut Gems, like double feature.
That sounds
Of
like
just-
a bad idea.
Of just like 5 straight hours of just like an awful pit in your stomach.
Just take
and,
your
No,
Tums
I-
ahead of time.
I think
yeah,
I
you're
need
gonna
to
be
watch
watch this movie and be like, do I have heartburn from watching movies?
I think I need to watch Uncut Gems at like 3 p.m. on a Saturday, and then
Yeah.
when that's over, order a really gross takeout dinner, and then watch Airplane.
Just watch like a nice comfort movie like Whiplash or something.
It's
or, like,
not a
Something Else.
comfort
That's
movie.
not a comfort movie.
Are you
Airplane
okay?
would be my comfort movie.
Airplane's really good movie.
Oh
It's
my
like
God.
movie junk food.
Watch a musical or something.
Ooh, yeah. Earlier this year, I was talking to some friends. This was like we had started the podcast, but this was like a bit earlier on. I think like we were like 7 or 8 movies in or something. And I was talking to them, and I mentioned like, yeah, I've just been like watching like all these like awful like Seagal movies. Like, I had to cheer myself up. Like, what did I say? I can't, it was something along the lines of like, I'm so over it that I had to like watch something. I had to watch Eraserhead to help cheer me up. And they're like. You watched Eraserhead as like a pick me up, and I'm like, yeah,
Eraserhead.
yeah, the nice feel good movie Eraserhead. When you're just having a bad day and you just want like some pure like uncomplicated bliss, you watch Eraserhead. What's the big deal?
Zach, I think your barometer was broken far before this experiment.
Oh man.
It was configured wrong, but now it's been like thrown onto the ground.
It's like if we're doing a psychological experiment, they find out like halfway through that they didn't do a good enough screening.
They find out halfway through the control group is already wrong.
Yeah, there's something wrong to begin with. You're throwing off the data.
Or it's the classic, like, we're polling to see the average amount of Seagal movies a person has watched. The outlier who has watched 2,000 Seagal movies has been removed from the pool, like that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
We want to know how people respond to movies, but we had to take Zach out of there because he just kept... Every answer he gave was wrong somehow. I didn't know that was possible. I should watch Whiplash sometime this week.
It's very good. I highly recommend it.
Excellent film.
And again, like I said, I'll watch it again, but like I won't just watch it like any time. Woof.
I've joked about how Seagal movies are banned in our household, like that. I can't watch them in the same room as Sarah. Whiplash, I really can't watch it in the same room as Sarah. She'll like rip the TV off the wall.
Oh my. Okay, so at the risk of this turning back into a hangout podcast, I'd like to talk about Ticker. Well, I don't want to talk about Ticker, but I'm gonna talk about
Well,
Ticker.
Hans, do you have anything else to say about Under Siege 2?
No, that's it.
Okay,
I'm glad. Oh, okay. I'm not glad that I had to rewatch it, but I think of all of the movies that I could pick from, that was the right one for my punishment movie.
Mm-hmm.
nice. That's a good way to sum it up. Now, as the host of this episode, I will effortlessly transition us into our
Thank you.
third guest of the evening, Aaron. You
That was smooth.
would absolutely love to talk about the film Ticker. Is that correct?
So inside me there are two wolves.
No. No. Get off the call.
And one of those wolves wants, and I can't believe I'm saying this, one of those wolves really wants to just like tear this movie to shreds and just hate every second of it. And
Yes,
one of
correct.
those wolves
Yes.
also
Blind
wants
wolf.
that, but is
Okay.
so beaten down and tired that he just can't. And I'm more in
wolves are friends.
I'm with that wolf. Like, I watched this movie fully
So that's
expecting.
the alpha wolf.
I have given. That's the wolf I'm feeding.
You're starving the other wolf?
That's how the whole metaphor goes. The wolf that wins is the wolf you feed. That's how that metaphor ends. And I'm feeding the tired wolf. I'm hanging out with tired wolf. So I went into this experience of rewatching Ticker. The movie that we all agreed was the worst Seagal film so far.
By far.
A solid half star.
And I'm not going to dispute that. It is the worst. What I will say is that I think I've discovered that through this experiment, we've joked about how like our brains are broken and stuff. I'm
not joking.
I really discovered the depths of the reality of my broken brain rewatching Ticker, because like I didn't take notes or anything the second time through. I wasn't going to give it, that level of dignity. It doesn't deserve it.
That's totally fair.
And so I watched it, and I had to like strain not to look at my phone or like just find something to distract me from this movie. But so like in the opening sequence when Seagal is like trying to free the senator from, because there's always a senator, from this mansion that has like the basement of like a high-rise like apartment building. And then there's like a shootout inside, except every frame of the shootout is from a different movie, so it's impossible to tell what's going on. And everything ends up exploding anyway. Like Seagal fails at his mission, everything's exploding.
Right.
When I first watched this movie, I remember being absolutely bewildered. At this point, I'm just like, well, okay, sure. Like, this is fine, I guess. When like he's defusing the bomb, and depending on what angle the camera's at, it's a completely different bomb.
Yes.
Or like when he says 42 seconds left on the clock, and it very clearly says like 48 seconds, and then it cuts closer to the bomb and it's like 10 and a half minutes. Sure, whatever. I don't really care. Like I think I'm stuck in the flow state. I think I've discovered in this experiment, rewatching this movie, how deep I am in that flow state. So little of this movie mattered. So like how throughout the entire
You're not
movie,
in the flow state. You are the flow
yeah,
state.
I've become one with the flow state. I reached, like a flow state enlightenment here. It's like throughout the whole movie, Dennis Hopper, like the whole point of his character, he's the villain. It's the IRA blowing up buildings in San Francisco for absolutely no stated purpose. They never state why they're doing this, ever. Something to do with Jamie Presley's husband built a wing of Town Hall, but because he was an architect and
Well, we know that's why she's in on it. We have no idea
We
why
have
the IRA is
no
in
idea why the IRA is there. We have no idea why Dennis Hopper's there. It doesn't matter. He gets blown up near the end of the movie anyway.
Well, it's because he offered you a chance at fame and fortune, you fool.
Yeah, and like half the
Oh my
scenes
God.
he has this painful Irish accent, and half the scenes he just doesn't. Nothing makes sense. Every time there's an explosion, you'll get clips from like 5 to 8 different movies clipped together. Like when the senator's mansion finally explodes, they show a clip of like a farmhouse in what appears to be a rural Texas exploding. Like it makes no sense, but
That's
it
awesome.
didn't affect me at all. Like it didn't even faze me, and
You said bring it on. Give me more.
I'm worried.
Well, I mean, we've talked about this before, but out of all of us, you are the most
Yeah.
like undiluted. Like
Yeah.
we're all sipping our little Seagal coffee. You're just drinking the like cold brew concentrate, like
Yeah.
straight from the bottle.
Yeah. It's rough.
Like we got a little, I'm getting an Americano, so you take it, it's got some water there, maybe a little cream sugar in there,
Mhm.
with some other good movies sprinkled in throughout.
No.
No,
I'm not doing that.
you're just you put the little maca pot on the stove, and then you take what comes out of that and boil that down, and then you just like drink the like residue.
I like
That's
scrape
because
what's left off the bottom of the pan and just like slightly rehydrate it. Yeah.
You've
Just-
I think watched 2 non-skull movies.
I
this year?
watched
The
Barbie
straight
in theaters,
sludge.
almost died. It was lovely.
Just the complete lack of flow is just assaulting all of your senses. Like, whoa,
Wait, a good
structure and
movie?
plot and
What?
jokes and
yeah. What?
meaning. Ah.
The themes don't actively compete
Art.
against the images on screen.
It's like they took a pilgrim from like the 14th century and put him on a Universal Studios like 4D like ride where like you know the Minions and the Transformers are jumping out of you and you're like
Yeah.
a second ago you thought the Earth was flat and now you're experiencing
Yeah,
this.
like,
You're like,
I touched the monolith and it's just the Technicolor stripes. It was
I'm just picturing Star Baby Aaron like oh it had something to say.
wow, that actually had like a message, and that message
Yeah.
was conveyed through the images and words and music and shot composition and blocking and story, and it all kind of worked together for a purpose. It was art.
So I would
It was amazing.
So I would agree.
Yeah.
I would absolutely agree that if you sat down to rewatch Ticker and your main takeaway is this is affecting me none. Yeah, I think you need to seek like professional help or something.
I mean,
That's not good.
I said it several episodes ago that I think this is an inadvertent supersize me. And the real discovery is not anything to do with Seagal, but more like the effects of Seagal on the human brain.
Mm-hmm.
How it impacts you.
Yeah. Now I was like elated when I went and watched Barbie.
Good.
It was a euphoric experience, but it was kind of like banging your head against the wall and then you stop and it feels good.
Wait, but you've actually seen 3 movies this year. You also saw Oppenheimer, didn't you?
I also saw Oppenheimer. Yeah.
Yeah, you did the Barbenheimer. Nice.
Yeah. That was also pretty
And
good.
Babylon. And then 20-some skull movies.
Yeah. And I rewatched a lot of the Mission
What a
Impossible
year.
movies, but
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. It
yeah.
hasn't been quite
You
as bad.
watched the
Yeah, that's right,
entirety
yeah.
of the Mission Impossible series except the newest one.
yeah, I still haven't
You
seen
prepared for watching the newest one and then
Mission
didn't
Impossible
watch
8.
the newest one.
Still haven't seen that one.
It might come back for IMAX.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Is it out of
Because-
theaters already?
No, I think it's technically still in some theaters, but Mission Impossible came out and it was like a week or 2 later and Barbenheimer came
Yeah.
out.
So
Mission Impossible only had like a week of like IMAX screens like to its and pretty much like when it came out it had like every IMAX screen in America I'm sure was playing
Yeah.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
But they've like so Barbie is coming back to IMAX theaters. Again, I don't the recording to release like this. If you're listening to this is useless to you potentially. But Barbie came back to IMAX theaters. And they floated the idea. They've said if there's demand for it, they'll do Mission Impossible, like bring it back for IMAX
Yeah.
specifically.
I'm demanding it.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I'd go see it again. They're actually, Aaron,
Aw.
you know what will be on IMAX screens September 22nd?
What?
Stop Making Sense, the concert film recording of the Talking Heads that came out back in the day. Like
Okay.
it's a bit of an older movie. It's like coming back in theaters like for the 30th year anniversary or something.
Interesting.
So if you are at all a Talking Heads fan,
I am not.
you can watch Stop Making Sense live in IMAX. And if you know any kind of Talking Heads backstory, history,
but
lore,
I know nothing about the Talking Heads.
you know that like you don't know anything about the
No.
Aaron, you disappoint
I'm
me.
sorry. I do that often.
A bunch of them like hate each other.
Oh no.
And so they're doing a live Q&A after the movie. So
Interesting.
things could get interesting.
Yeah.
So you should watch Mission Impossible / Stop Making Sense.
Okay. That sounds like fun.
But yeah, any other thoughts on Ticker? The worst skull movie ever.
Not on Ticker specifically, but we've talked to our friends who are listening to this podcast, and none of them are doing like a watch along. Which good choice.
Good. Do not do a watch along.
do
Don't.
not-
That's the entire point of what we're doing.
Do
The
not
takeaway is do not do a watch
do a
along.
watch along.
We're watching them all, so you don't have to.
Yeah, it's done things to me.
It is truly. The thing is, we've talked about this before, like other Seagal podcasts, and we've noted that we're like the only one watching them in order, and
Mhm.
like
That's
they
wild,
all-
but
which is wild. But also just that in general, like we haven't found any podcast that has every Skull movie.
no.
Like a bunch of them have given up.
Hmm.
I get why.
Yeah.
I get that by the time you hit like 30, you're feeling tapped out. I get it. For all the Seagal podcasts that have stated, like the 3 or 4 other Seagal podcasts that say we're watching all the Seagal movies, then got 15, 20 in and stopped. I'm with you. Solidarity. I get it, man.
I think there's one that got into the mid-30s.
Not solidarity.
Not solidarity. No. But I'm with you over here.
Yeah.
We're still in it. We're still doing it. But I respect your life choices.
Oh yeah. No shame. No shame at all. Totally legitimate choice to just say, you know what? 36 was enough. Actually, I'm done.
It's not worth the content.
Yeah.
No content is worth this.
No. Hey, we don't make content around here. We make art.
We craft art.
Yeah.
We make art out of the garbage that
we forge, capital A,
that we force feed ourselves.
Arts. Yeah. You could hang this podcast in a museum, and in that museum, someone would walk up, look at it, and go, I could do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I made the same joke in the Ticker episode. Maybe I'm retreading old ground here. But there's this old story that gets passed around. I think it was in an interview or something. Dennis Hopper said it somewhere. It's here's a movie we haven't talked about in a while. That when he filmed the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh boy. Yeah.
The Nexus.
It sits at the center of this very weird Seagal web.
Well, it did. Not so much anymore.
No, not anymore. But
that's a throwback. Back in the first 10 episodes, the Super Mario Brothers live action film really sat at the nexus of this whole project.
Yeah.
But in the original live action Super Mario Brothers film, there's this story where Dennis Hopper says that one time his child was like, why were you in that movie? And he's like, I did it for the paycheck. He says something along the lines of I did it to buy you a pair of shoes or something. This is the work I do. This is my job. I do it so I can buy you shoes. And the kid says, Dad, I don't need shoes that badly. Sick burn. It's almost
burn.
Too sick of a burn for a kid that that's why you question it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I wonder if his kid was aware of the movie Ticker, starring Tom
Sizemore.
Tom Sizemore,
Steven Seagal, Jamie Presley, and
Ice-T is in there.
Yeah, very briefly.
Very briefly.
Yeah.
But you have this funny interaction of his kid talking to him about after the Super Mario Bros. Movie came out. I don't know if there's a funny interaction for Ticker because I feel like if his kid actually saw Ticker, then that kid probably just didn't talk to Dennis Hopper for a month. Super Mario Brothers movie, you'll roast him. You'll go and make a funny joke. You watch Ticker, you're just that's not my father. I need some time off.
Now, thankfully, at least according to the behind the scenes info we have, it only took Dennis Hopper half a day.
He got in, got out, got paid.
It was a day and he didn't interact with anyone on set. Honestly, that's the best way to film a movie.
Yeah.
The best way to film a terrible movie that stars Steven Seagal. Get in, get out, get paid, be done.
When someone kind of phones it in, I don't respect that. But when someone is completely devotes their entire existence to phoning it in, when someone is doing a Ron Swanson, George Costanza level of having to work harder to do less work, when you're phoning in is so high concept and high effort, I have to give props to that. Being the main villain of a movie where you're on set for a day and don't interact with any of the other cast members, that is mind expanding. That is brain wrinkling. That is truly magical.
That's pretty good.
So I give you props, Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, good job. I think.
But yeah, is that our?
I think
our movies. Is that our experience?
That was my experience. Yeah, I really don't want to say anything more about Ticker. It wasn't good. It wasn't good the second time. I just don't care anymore. It's just as bad as it was the first time.
A shell of the man you once were.
Yeah, honestly, it's rough.
Yeah, maybe I don't know.
Should go watch Whiplash and cuddle up and.
Well, I don't even know what to for your ailment. I don't even know what to prescribe because we tried Barbie and it was almost too much of an assault to the senses. You need something that's good, but not milk toast, but solid, watchable, middle of the road. You need to go watch Forrest Gump or something.
Yeah, what's the chicken noodle soup of movies?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hot Fuzz.
Some Steven Spielberg films or something.
No, absolutely not, Hans. You're not understanding the assignments.
No, I gotta watch some Spielberg.
I think you need to watch something with Tom Hanks in it, or directed by Spielberg.
I'll go watch Money Pit. You ever seen Money Pit?
I never
Yeah.
seen Money
Oh,
Pit.
I
Very
love
long
Money
time
Pit.
ago.
My grandmother had like 4 VHS tapes at her house. And it was Oliver Twist, which my sister and I never wanted to watch.
Nice.
Cats,
Fair.
which my grandma always wanted to watch, like a recording of the stage production of Cats.
I'm familiar.
And Jurassic Park, which I wanted to watch
Nice.
often, but my sister never did. And
Boo.
Money Pit, starring Tom Hanks, which both my sister and I love to watch. We wore that thing out. Grandma didn't like it so much,
okay,
so
wait.
she made us watch Oliver Twist every now and again. But
Hear me out though.
yeah,
Gonna put a slight little spin on it.
Mhm.
You've Got Mail. Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan.
Oh.
I think You Got Mail. That's like the chicken noodle soup
Oh, okay. I've never seen it.
of the movie world. That's a solid. It's like a Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan rom-com
Okay.
about a small bookshop owner who's being, her store is gonna go under because of this big business like bookshop coming in,
Mhm.
run by Tom Hanks. But the whole time she's emailing someone, she's having a romance. But it turns out it's him. It's the guy that owns the big
Ooh.
bookshop. That's a chicken noodle soup movie if
Yeah.
I've ever
I
read
just
one.
need like a competently made but not groundbreaking
Just
movie.
a solid all-rounder.
Yeah.
Like you turn on the TV and you're like, oh, they're playing You Got Mail. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm down.
Would Oscar
problem is I-
qualify? Is that
What?
the one I made you watch? Oscar? Stallone when you could actually understand him?
Hmm.
Aaron, have you ever
I-
watched
I-
Oscar?
No.
I think you should watch Oscar, but
Oh, Aaron.
I don't think that's a chicken noodle soup movie.
It might not be, but I think it's close enough that it would work.
What
You
about
should
like
watch
Rocky?
Oscar.
No, because Rocky's like a great movie.
Yeah.
Oscar is Stallone's one attempt at doing a comedy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it is like a comedy of errors, like almost like old timey,
That is
like
interesting.
slapstick.
Huh.
That's one of those movies
It's
that
interesting.
that was like the only thing my sister and I had to watch when we were with mom at work.
Like
So we
Charlie
watched
Chaplin
that
by
over
way
and
of
over and over and over again.
Sylvester Stallone.
A little bit. Honestly, the way I would sum it best, like the reason this movie is worth existing, there's a moment where it's Tim Curry
Okay.
is like a diction coach
Sure.
trying to teach Sylvester Stallone to like speak with proper diction and pronunciation.
Okay.
The movie is like worth it for that moment, for like that scene
Uh-huh.
alone. Like that is the buy-in. That is like why this movie should exist.
The rain in Spain and all that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
He's a gangster trying to go straight at the request of his dying father.
Ah.
So
Stallone,
he's trying to become a banker, so he has to talk like a proper gentleman.
How kind of
But
you
then
to
you have
let me
like
come.
shenanigans, like his daughter has like an on and off again boyfriend. There's all kinds of just like the thing is then he's just surrounded by this whole family and they got all kinds of like crazy
Okay.
like doodads going
That's
on.
interesting.
Aaron,
Interesting. I'll have to
you
watch
should
that.
watch Oscar.
Mhm.
You should.
What's really
It's
fun-
very good.
You know, it's great. It's like impossible to Google search for this.
Oh, that's, I forgot about that.
Oscar
Zach,
Sylvester
I told Zach-
Stallone.
So I told Zach about this movie, and he came back to me and said, "Hans, that movie doesn't exist." And I was just like, "No, it definitely does." And he couldn't, like, neither of us
Yeah.
could find it. You can't find it online.
Because what do you search? Oscar 1990, like Oscar Sylvester Stallone. Like
Oscar
But
movie,
just-
Sylvester Stallone.
this movie is like the
Oh my
anti
gosh.
SEO. Like it is only made up of terms that will pull other results other than this movie. There is no Google search you can form where Oscar the film starring Sylvester Stallone will be the first results.
Yeah.
It'll be like, oh, Sylvester Stallone almost got the Oscar in 1990 for this movie, and you're
Oh,
like, no,
stop it.
no, stop it. Yes, I should rewatch. I should
Mhm.
rewatch Oscar.
Okay.
It's a fun movie.
I don't know how to close out this episode.
I don't know either.
Yeah, we can't really do our quotes.
How about why don't we say this? Because I think the cat's out of the bag now. We know we're going to have an ending quiz show
Yeah.
once we're done, right?
Uh-huh.
What
Sure,
what do we think the punishments are going to be for that one?
Loser has to rewatch every single season.
Nothing that would kill you. Oh, hey.
Oh, okay.
Dear listener,
Jesus.
you know how to
Good
you
Lord.
know how to contact us. If you have ideas for what the prizes should be for the quiz show at the end of this project when we're finally free, let us know. Send us an email. Talk to us on Discord. Join our Patreon exclusive Discord channel, which definitely exists.
Yeah, patrons will get to vote on the punishment that we will face for the quiz show episode.
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
think that's it.
That's it. I don't have anything
That's
else.
That's not an ending. It's just a suggestion.
Could be an ending.
I mean, it could be like a Seagal movie, and it just kind of stops.
This has been the wrap up post game show. This has been Talking Seagal. Hans, finish us out. Do a stinger. No stinger, Hans?
I'm thinking. I don't have a stinger. I just have. Well, thank you for listening to us talk about our punishment and reward movies for the game show episode. We don't know how to end it, so
remember, it's not the destination; it's the journey. And
Except I really want to get to the destination on this one.
No.
you want to get to that? You want to get to what? Force of Attrition or whatever his 2019 film? No, you want to get to Beyond the Law. That's
Beyond the Law.
Wait, oh, that's the problem. Is when you say it's not the journey, it's not the destination, it's the journey.
The journey is all the movies to take us there.
And the destination is Beyond the Law, the long-awaited sequel to Above the Law.
Yeah.
It's neither. Steven Seagal, where it is neither the destination nor the journey.
Yeah.
There it is. There.
Yeah.
Say that again more emphatically and cut that in.
You know, on Steven Seagal, it's like they say, it's not the journey. It's also like, yeah, you know, like what they say when it comes to Steven Seagal, it's just like they say, it's not the destination. It's also not the journey.
We'll see you next time, I hope. Bye.
That means one of us has to die.
A top-secret satellite with nuclear capabilities. A team of international terrorists. A government-held hostage.
President and the others been safely evacuated.
An undetectable moving headquarters.
I'd like to call your attention to the highly trained men with the automatic weapons. They may be called upon to shoot you.
There's only one problem.
Any other heroes?
The cook from Under Siege is back.
I'm not even a good cook, but there are some things I'm good at.
And things are really heating up.
It's a 45, okay?
Yeah. Last time, he rocked the boat. This time, the sky's the limit. Steven Seagal. Under Siege 2.
This, I'm trained for.